Welcome to another mobile edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys and girls, we are retired New York City police detectives with 20 plus years of law enforcement experience. And if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and when Ed Wallace is around, when we go live or upload another video. Today, I want to talk to you about the preview for tonight. We're going to be talking about Dylan Rounds, the search for him that was conducted by Heavy D Sparks, the Diesel brothers. They went out there, they flew the drone that was provided to them by EquuSearch Midwest. We're going to have Dave Rader, Twila, Sisco, Gene Robinson, our drone guru. Hi, Diane. Hey, everybody piling in. We're going to also have Candace Cooley who's going to join us. So it's going to be action-packed. It's going to be me. I believe Ed might come in towards the end. Dave Rader, Twila Sisco, Gene Robinson, and Candace Cooley. We're going to talk everything search-wise for Dylan Rounds. There's been some developments. Example, Heavy D Sparks has matched the $100,000 donation. So now there's $200,000 out there in donation money for anyone that could lead this family to recovering and who is responsible for the demise of Dylan Rounds. So it's exciting that they are joining forces with Dylan's mom. Hello, Sergeant George. Good to see you. Hi, Sherilyn. I want to say a special thank you to you, the Patreon supporters, the channel members and moderators, and all the folks who engage in this Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace community. You guys are what makes this a great place, and I'm so happy and thankful for you guys. There's so much news going on. We have the Parkland penalty phase, the Parkland shooter from 2019, Valentine's Day, 2018. He was, the penalty phase was given. It was not a verdict that you saw today. It was the jury deciding, because he pled guilty on his own accord. There was no trial. This was the penalty phase, whether he was going to get life in prison or, get the death penalty in Florida. The jury came back 11-1. 11 jurors were for the death penalty. One holdout juror, one male juror, said no, that the circumstances surrounding his mental health was enough to not institute the death penalty. And I'd like to know how everybody feels. Down below in the comment section, let me know how you feel about this. I know it's a very it's a very tough conversation to have, but here in America, in certain states, the death penalty is on the table for some certain heinous crimes. When you kill one or more persons, the death penalty in certain states, or there's kind of there's some stuff that has to be met. One or more people, law enforcement, first responders. But in this case, we were talking about 17 children who were murdered by this evil monster. We heard the families refer to him as an animal and things of that nature, but we look at him as an evil, sick monster, a killing machine. And I think a lot of folks, and I'd be curious to see by a show of hands in the chat, how many folks are for the death penalty. You could put a 1 in the chat. If you feel that life in prison was the appropriate and proper sentence, you could put a 2. I just would like to see how that goes. Wild Z Pony, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Hi, Carolyn. I just want to see what the chat says and how people are feeling. I see a lot of number 1s floating through the chat, a couple of number 2s. I respect both votes. I'm going to go ahead and vote myself. I would put a 1 in the chat. And the reason I put a 1 is first and foremost, the heinous amount of lives that this individual took, and the way he took those lives away from those children, those kids in that school. He not only doubled back and executed them not only did he shoot them from a long distance range, but he went straight up on them and finished what he had to, what the job that he was doing, and that made it very heinous, very, very all of the above. It checks off all of the boxes, and you know, I listened to Sheriff Grady Judd speak. I listened to the Florida governor. I listened to the challenger, who is from the other side of the aisle of the Florida governor. All of them agreed that this, if anything, if any case would fall under a death penalty phase, this would be one of them. And, you know, again, I look at both sides. My aunt is a Catholic nun. You know, the Catholic religion, you say, thou shalt not kill. So death, it's a controversial thing. But when you look at these family members and you look at the pain and suffering and anguish on their faces, I don't know if any of you stood by and watched the press conferences, the press conference that ensued, and one by one, the families, by a show of hands, who watched those people speak, the actual family, surviving family members of these small young victims, they gave their heartfelt 2 cents to the media. And I stuck around and listened to that with my ear pod in as I was working. And that was really, really hard. That was a hard pill to swallow, listening to them speak. And one of the young women that spoke used a lot of expletives in the press conference. She used the F word a few times, and it was very emotional. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, a to suffer at the hands of someone shooting at you, a death like that. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So in this case, it's going to be argued for years to come that if there was ever a time to in the penalty phase, if for a jury of 12 people, for them to come back, you need to have all of them agree. In a death capital punishment case, you need all 12 jurors to be on the same page. You can't have, and in this case, it was just one that didn't agree. Um, you know, there's a lot of people that are saying that that person, that male juror, is going to have to live with that for the rest of his life, and that is true. That's true. You know, again, everybody has their opinions and feelings about this thing, but it was horrible to see it. It was horrible to see it all go down. Looking at the families in the courtroom was just heartbreaking, heartbreaking. So, I want to just say this. You know, we all have our thoughts and opinions. Respecting everyone's thoughts and opinions is what makes us good people, right? But at the end of the day, I say to myself, if you have certain criteria that has to be met under our laws, uh, here in America, this is not, you know, this is not a far, you know, this is the United States of America. And under our Constitution and our laws, if you have a death penalty case, this one matched and hit every single criteria that is needed to institute the death penalty. And there's no way to sugarcoat that or dance around it. This thing met every checkbox. It met every checkbox. So he will now be in prison for the rest of his life, no possibility of parole. The judge cannot overturn it. There's no double jeopardy. You can't go back and ask for a do-over. What is done is done. This is what it is. This is what it will be, and this is how it's going to be. But more importantly, I have to say this, you know, these families are now the victims to be, they're re-victimized during the course of this penalty phase. The penalty phase was long. It was heartbreaking because they heard from the medical examiner. They saw video and footage of their loved ones being gunned down. This Parkland school shooting in 2018 is something that's never going to be forgotten. These folks are going to live their last breath, um, thinking about this. And this is never going to go away from this. This is a nightmare that's going to continue on. But I would say this, going forward, think about the things that you do and the things that you say and the comments that you leave on social media. Just when you leave comments, think about the families. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Very sad. Think about the families before you leave a comment, and think about their thought process and their feelings, because it didn't happen to you, it happened to them. So that's all I'll say about that. And I want to move forward. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have Dave Rader, the operations director of EquuSearch Midwest, Twila Sisco, the search coordinator, Gene Robinson, the drone coordinator. He's the guru of all things drone related. And Candace Cooley will be joining us tonight to talk about Heavy D Sparks and the Diesel brothers, who went out to Lucin to search for Dylan Rounds with the drone that you guys were instrumental in fundraising. When we did our fundraiser in February of this year, that was the reason that drone got purchased, because of the fundraiser that we did. We got them enough funds where they purchased not just one drone, they purchased three drones. Exactly, Alicia. Who does not love Twila? She is the best. I'm going to highlight that comment. So Twila, Dave, Gene, myself, Ed Wallace is going to be at a wake. He gets out of that at about 8 o'clock, and then he's got to drive home. So he may or may not join us, but it's going to be a very, very interesting conversation, because we're going to hear about what was done, about the imaging, about the capabilities of this drone, and everything that was done to search and is going to be continued. There's still more to be done in areas to search. So they haven't completed everything that needs to be searched. So the searches are going to continue, and we're going to talk to Candace Cooley about updates in regards to the investigation. We heard from news and updates that this is what they believe, Box Elder, is a murder investigation now. This is no longer a missing persons case. We know that Dylan Rounds was met by somebody or someone, or plural, some peoples who who killed him. And there's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to say it nicely. I was looking for a nice word to say, but Dylan Rounds, unfortunately, that investigation has now turned into a murder investigation. It should have been that from the get-go. So yes, Brandy, Twila is absolutely one of a kind. I can't agree with you more. I haven't been live in a couple of days because I've been putting extra updates in the studio. I've been working with Josh in the studio, so we have not been live for about 3 or 4 days. There's been a lot of tweaking, and there you go. Tweety USA says unlived. Yeah, I just chose murdered because that's the fact. I feel like very strongly the evidence shows that he was murdered, and he was murdered by perhaps more than one person. So we'll see what the updates are from not only his mom, Candace Cooley. We're going to talk to Dave, Twila, and Gene about some of the technology and advancements that we have with the drones and the capabilities. But I want to say a special thank you to the moderators, all of the folks who positively engage here. I just want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Karen Solek is here. Pauline Robb, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Yeah, it is. It's a slap in the face for victims and their families. Brandy, we love you, and Ed so much. I wish I could meet you two someday. We're going to do a meetup. We've been talking about it. We're going to get it going, and we're going to do it somewhere. Lieutenant Pete Pranzo, Harlem Raiders, good to see you. Thank you for joining. And if Pete Pranzo is here, that means I already saw Richella Pranzo is here too. So love and respect to Richella, and Pete Pranzo, our great friends, retired NYPD lieutenant. Sis Love, always great to see you. I appreciate you and your support. Thank you for joining. Who else is here? I'm just taking a look at the chat. Let me know you're watching, city and state. Let's do a little bit of a roll call and I'll wrap it up. Samantha Hearn, you do great work from the UK. Thank you so much for that, Samantha. I really do appreciate it. Karen is saying hi again. Thank you, Princess Michelle, for being here. Renetta Day, thank you for being here. Blondie from Burlington, hello from Pennsylvania. It looks like Phillies are doing pretty good. We'll see how they do going forward. Donna Barnes, checking in from Bedford, Massachusetts. Central Cali, says Richard. Hodge, good to see you. Thunder, thank you for joining all the way from North Carolina. Hello from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Good to see you. Ohio, 1981. The Fly, thank you for joining. I think I'm doubling back. Sarah, thank you for being a channel member. Hey, listen, for those of you who received free channel memberships, free channel memberships is just my way of giving back to you guys. I hope you enjoyed the free memberships, and for those of you who have gotten the memberships and then they've lapsed because you can't continue on with memberships, budgets and things of that. People are trying to make ends meet. I understand. We're going to continue to give away these free memberships. And hi, Jennifer Nobles. Good to see you. Looking forward to jury selection in the trial of Sincere and Classic, our boys from California City. And when that trial commences, I will be covering it, and we'll be covering it extensively. I have some updates on also the Michael Valva trial. We have probably another week or two in that. That's he murdered his son, Tommy Valva. We're going to talk about that here in Long Island. There's so much to unpack and unwrap. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stories are developing and a lot of things are happening, new cases. But, again, I don't do this full time, so it's hard for me to jump on every case. No updates in the Collier case as far as I could see. If anybody sees or hears of any updates, go on over to DutyRon.com. Yeah, Alicia, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That case is vicious. The testimony that I'm watching, I'm looking at it every day. The testimony coming out from the school psychologists, from school teachers, from the EMTs and paramedics that responded, it is heart-wrenching. That case is heart-wrenching. I know of the details, but now they're coming out in court, some of the additional details, and it is just so troubling on so many different levels. So Tweety US News says, I love the thick New York accent. Yeah, well, this is what you got. Where I'm born and raised here, and this is the accent that I've obtained from living in this part of the United States. Yeah, there's so many cases, we could go on and on and on all day and all night. But listen, I want to just ask you guys if you can. Robert, good to see you. That's Michelle, Princess Michelle's husband. Thank you so much for being here. Gerda, Kotzi, good to see you. Appreciate you always being here and hanging out with us. Nellie B says, New York City is my favorite city that I visited. I'm glad that you were here, and I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself. Hello from Illinois. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Who else? Kim Alston says, DutyRon, it feels like you work full-time. Sterling work. God bless. Love New York accent. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Much appreciated. All right. So tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, I hope you guys can join us. It's going to be a very informative live stream. I'm going to ask you guys to go on over to DutyRon.com and leave us some questions. Ask anything about, the $100,000 bump in the reward. Now it's $200,000 for the reward money. Heavy D Sparks, that's the Diesel brothers. They got a great YouTube channel and they help so many people. Sherilyn Shelfner is here. Thank you for joining, Sherilyn. But they just bumped the reward money up to $200,000. So that's exciting in itself, and I'm hoping that will bring more leads and more information and make people talk. Hugs out Hart from Connecticut, good to see you. Okie dokie 7. I saw you on WFLA's live stream. I don't know if they're still live, but I saw you on that as well. So leave us some questions on DutyRon.com for tonight's show. You know, anything that you want to ask, Dylan Rounds related, EquuSearch related, searching related, anything that's pertaining to the case, just label it for tonight's show on Dylan Rounds, and I will check DutyRon.com before I go live tonight, and I'll get my notepad out and I'll write it down. Yeah, I do. I have a playlist on Thomas Valva. It's about 20 something live streams in regards to that case. And if you guys want to check out my playlists on all the things that I've covered over the time, it's available. You just got to look down in the playlist and then just go through them. I have over 1,500 videos. ATS News, good to see you. Thank you, Amber. Always good to see you in the chat. Tonight should be an informative show. Candace Cooley, she's got a lot to say. Dylan Round's mom, you know, a mama bear that will not be silenced. She is very, very, very vocal about her son. You know, she wants her son found. She wants law enforcement to do what they're supposed to be doing and find out what happened to her son. You know, just think about it. We're all, for the most part, we are all parents here. Just for a second, God forbid, think about if your son or daughter went missing and you had a police force that was shutting you down, that was basically ghosting you. That's what they're faced with. Not just Candace. The father, Justin, is being ghosted by them. They're not talking to him. The grandparents, this Box Elder Sheriff Potter, we talked about the sheriff's office. They basically ghosted this family. They've shut them down. The family's not asking them to open up their case file and tell them about their leads. What the family is asking is, hey, can you update me on what's going on with my son's case? Can you tell me that you're still investigating it? They won't even answer those questions. They won't pick up the phone and answer this family. That, to me, is the worst example of what law enforcement is supposed to do. Your loved one, God forbid, picture your loved one going missing. Whether it's your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your sister, your brother, and having a law enforcement agency tell you zero, nothing. They give you an FBI personnel, they give you an FBI point of contact to communicate with who they don't communicate with. So this family has an FBI contact, but Box Elder doesn't communicate with the FBI contact. What the hell is that? So we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to have a lot to speak about. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of, Candace has a lot to say. We're going to start from the very beginning and we're going to work our way back. We're going to start from the beginning when Dylan went missing to straight up to current day. All right, guys and girls, that's all I got for you. I really appreciate each and every one of you being here. I hope you guys understand that sometimes I got to take a break from this. And what I did was Monday and Tuesday, I updated my studio. Well, we did a live on Monday. So Tuesday, I spent the whole day with Josh updating the studio, putting a couple of new monitors in. We got a new camera angle, but it's not up and running yet. But I'm working on getting you another camera angle. So instead of seeing straight forward, you'll get a side shot and a back shot. It's going to be cool. Upgrades and advancements, it always takes a long time to get it all together. This is my second go around with hooking up the new monitors and hooking up a brand new desktop. So I'm not like, I don't have like a tech staff. Josh does everything remotely from California, and I'm there plugging in the wires and, all right, can you hear me now? Like hitting the microphone. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? So we went on for a long time. 9 o'clock Eastern tonight. Yes, D. 9 o'clock Eastern. All right, guys, let me know what your feelings are down below in the comments. Leave me a comment. Like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. Follow me and Ed on all things social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, all one word, DutyRon. Go over to DutyRon.com where you can find out everything about the cases that we cover. I love and respect all of you guys. Thank you, Wild Z Pony. Computer stuff takes forever. I appreciate your dedication, Ron. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you and all that you do. Guys, thank you. If I missed anybody's comment, I apologize. I'll see you tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Be there or be square. And if you can't catch it live, catch the replay. Thank you, guys. Peace from New York. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially all the victims of crime and their families. We send the folks from the Parkland shooting, the victims and their families, we send them strength, prayers, and positive vibes today and every day. Guys, good day from New York. Talk to you soon.